Why a random guy in Utah has an Italian rally car from the 70s, right? Kind of grown up around cars my whole life, and this car specifically I saw in an old rally video. I had to have one. They're mechanical. I can fix them, I can break them, I can fix them again, I can work on them, I can rebuild them. Motorcycles, cars, all mechanical. I like that stuff a lot. A car is a collection of parts, but it has a soul. My car has a name, of course, Milo. Has character, has a personality. Sometimes it doesn't want to start. And every car is different too. Different squeaks, different rattles, different issues. So yeah, identity, I like that. So I found Milo on a forum in 2007. A guy in Texas had it. It'd been left on the side of the road with a cracked engine block. And the guy picked it up and put it in his junkyard, and it sat there for probably 20 years. So it was in rough shape when we got it. You know, the first time I saw it, I was like, that's the car I want. And I went down there and got it, and I've had it ever since. What I really wanted to do with the car was put in a Ferrari V8. But when I was building the car, I didn't quite have the budget for it. And so I wanted to at least get the car running and driving, and then I can do that later. I wanted to do the car right. And back then, I didn't have the tools and the shop and the skills in order to do the car. And so I did a few other projects. I've done motorcycles and a Ford Ranger and a few other things. And so I did all those things first to build up my skill set because I wanted to do the car right. That was kind of the reason it took so long. You know, it sat in this corner for 10 years and didn't get touched. But I was working on my career, you know, I was going to school, those typical things kind of delayed the project. I wanted to build a race car, is what I wanted to build. But I also wanted to drive it to work and back. You know, it has the turbo engine in it, but it also has AC and it has a stereo, but it has, you know, the big brakes. So I had to try to find this balance of race car, but also streetable and not miserable. They built 400, it was the number they claimed, but really it's probably 200 actual homologation cars. This is not one of them. This is just a regular two-door sedan that I put the body kit on. You can tell because the chassis number would have an R in it. It'd be 131AR, mine is just 131A. So you know it's not an actual homologation car or one of the 20 or so race cars that they built, the Group 4 cars. I didn't want to send the car to the painter and then send the car to the engine guy and then send the car to the upholstery guy. Because then I can't say that I did the car. I can't say I built the car, you know, myself. Yeah, a project like this, you know, where you have to build essentially an entire car from scratch, because I just had the shell and a box of parts. And so there's an order of operations you have to do things in. right? Because you can't paint the car first, because then you have to do all the fabrication work after, and that would never work. So you have to plan it out in a way that you get all of your fabrication and welding done first. And you essentially build the car and have it completed, but not painted yet. So it's a running and driving car, almost. Then you take it all the way back apart and paint everything, make it all pretty, and then put it back together for the final assembly. It has manual steering and manual brakes and a manual transmission. So there's nothing between you and the road except for the 4 tires. Like, you can feel every bump and you can feel every curve of the road, or if there's gravel, like that all transmits up through the steering wheel, up through the pedals, up through the seat. So yeah, it's not really anything like driving a normal car. It's fun to drive, it's quick, it handles really well. It's definitely prone to oversteer. It's an experience. Body panels, so they're all fiberglass. Had to do a lot of body work to them to get them straight. I built a tube chassis and put in a double wishbone suspension in the front, and then it's got a Ford 9-inch axle in the rear with a 3-link that I built for it. So the car's a lot more rigid, and I was able to get modern brakes and ride-tech coilovers and custom sway bars. So it's all modern underneath with bigger brakes, better wheel bearings, bigger hubs. The wheels are supposed to be a 15-inch wheel, 15 by 10 in the rear, 15 by 8 or 9 in the front. Problem is, the Pirelli tires that are available are $600–700 a piece. So I went with the 17-inch wheels just so that I could get tires for it. There's not really much available for this car, interior-wise, at least here in the States. So I bought a industrial sewing machine, and I just did it all myself. I had to make the gauge faces for them and make everything in Italian. I did modernize it a little bit on the inside. I added AC and added a touchscreen unit. It's actually really nice because it interfaces with my ECU. So I can actually tune the car as I'm driving. I can change parameters and stuff. The transmission is from a EcoBoost Mustang. So the engine in this car, yeah, it's a bit of a mishmash. So I have a Mazda 3-speed engine block, but I had to put custom pistons in it, and I used a Duratec 2.5 cylinder head on it because it has bigger valves and better ports. And I had to make the intake manifold and exhaust manifold on it in order to get the turbo over far enough to clear the alternator. So it actually sits behind the front axle, which is better for weight distribution, of course. The turbo is a little bit on the smaller side, so it spools up quickly, which gives you more torque down low, which makes it funner to drive on the street. So yeah, I think it's fun to drive. Yeah, I get where purists are coming from because, yeah, I would have loved to do this car with all the right parts, but they're just expensive and hard to find here in the States. Other projects in store, I got a big, ugly red Ford truck in the backyard. The idea is to make a flatbed truck out of it, and then I can put this car on the back and take it to the racetrack. When do I know that it's finished? When do I know this car is done? I think that's the joke, right? It's a project car. It's never finished. It's never 100%. Power steering's on the list, and then a larger engine is also on the list at some point. My name's Dante Dagostini, and I drive a 1976 Fiat 131 Abarth.